What's going on, people? Welcome back to Nesta TV, and today we're gonna talk about my top five, not even top, just my 5 reasons why I think Antigua produce better football players than America. So I'm not being biased, like I was raised in Antigua, I was born in America, but I played majority of my life in Antigua. And I'm gonna do this from a coaching perspective because I coach in Antigua for like 5 years, 6 years or so. And I played in Antigua a lot. And you come into America now, I coach over here a lot, so I get to see the differences of youth development in Antigua versus youth development in America. And I was a professional coach with the New York Red Bulls as well, so I get to see a more inside view to like academy and grassroots programs and stuff. So I got the both of best worlds. So I'm gonna just start with my 5, as I said. So the first thing I'm gonna go with is the fact that in Antigua we played every day, and we was playing football every day of the week. And even if we was to not play for a day, it probably gonna be just maybe 1 day off if we wasn't to play. But majority of the time we was playing. Like while we at school, we normally play. Like sometime in the classes we would push the desk to the side and grab a tennis ball, or we might have an actual ball, and we would play in the class. We would play outside of the school, but we're at school and we're playing. And when we get home from school, majority of the time, sometimes after school, people go and play ball. When before you go home, I'm talking like school is over, you go down, you take a walk away from the school, you're playing a 5-a-side. When you go home after school, you and your friends meet up and you're playing. So we was always playing, and you already know the more you play, the more you get better, because you're always controlling the ball, you're always dribbling, so your game is getting better. So that's my view on why playing every day help you get better, because as I said, the more you play, the more you get better. Everything you do is more repetition. And if I was to compare that to the US, kids in the US, they don't really get to play every day. I'm talking like intense playing. Because when we played in Antigua, like for me growing up, we was playing all the time and it was intense. You and your friends, whether it's a 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, 6, whatever, it was always intense going against each other. And in the US, majority of the time, kids, they will have like 2-3 days a week that they practice, maybe 2, the most of the times it's 2, and 1 day for a game on the weekend. And they might play multiple games on the weekend, but that's not much playing time compared to us growing up. And the kids that I was even coaching, there will be time when I would, let's say my practice for my team is 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. By the time I get up to the field, the kids is already out there playing a 3-a-side or 5-a-side or whatever. And then they will stop. Once they see me set up on this time for practice to start, they will stop, come over, practice, and after practice they will go back and play again. So it's like these kids are playing a lot compared to in the US. So that's my number 1 reason of why I think Antigua produce better ballers, is that in Antigua our kids play more. My second reason is and this is a weird one, but for me, I think I pay attention to this, and for me it's playing barefoot. And the difference between playing barefoot and in cleats, for example in Antigua, playing barefoot, there was a lot of disadvantages. And you're talking like, we played a lot of street ball in my area, in Grace Farm. We played a lot of street ball. We would go to the basketball court and we would play a 5-a-side or 2, whatever, but we would, majority of the time we was playing barefoot. We didn't like when people wear shoes, but then there would be 1 or 2 players that would come with the shoes and play, but we would still, majority of people still play barefoot. And when you play barefoot, there's no cushion when it comes to getting the ball under control compared to wearing the cleats. When you wear cleats, the outside of the cleats is much softer, it has more of a cushion. Compared to your foot, that's just bare skin and bones, and the ball hitting your foot, so it's easier to bounce off. So when you play barefoot, your touch gets better, you hit the ball, your technique gets better, and that help you way more compared to wearing the cleats. And in the US now, kids wear cleats majority of the time. They're not going outside on the basketball court or even on the grass field playing 5-a-side or whatever barefoot. They're not doing that. So us, when we don't have on our cleats and thing, when we go practice with our team, we'll wear our cleats. But I would say we play more in Antigua, for example, like for me, in my opinion, growing up, we played more barefoot than we were playing cleats. And then by the time you're going to play in your cleats now, you know your touch is better because it was more difficult when you didn't have on your cleats. So you had more disadvantages without your cleats, and other disadvantages you had without your cleats was, you know, like things poking you in your foot while you would play, and you know, like stones, you're stepping on stones while you would play on things, whether you're on the court or on the field outside, you know, things is poking you in your foot, you're playing against it, you're playing on the court, your foot is burning, you're still going. And you know, those are disadvantages, but you make it an advantage to keep playing, and you're getting better every time. So that's my second reason. We played more barefoot, which helped us with our touch. Our touch got better, and you know, we get things more under control, and by the time we go put on the cleats, it's way better. So that's my second reason. My third reason is free play. In Antigua, we played a lot of free play. As I said, we would go to the court, we would play outside. So we played more without referees and rules. So more free play, it's more intense, you know, it's more, you know, the game, the flow of the game keep going. You know, nobody's really stopping the game, no referee, no rules, and you know, you learn more that way because you know, you don't have no coach telling you what to do. You have to adapt to your environment, and you know, it just kept everything going faster for you, and you're just learning on the go. And that's where I feel like, as a coach, that's where I feel like a lot of players lose development in that sense, because you're always playing with a coach. Your coaches are stopping you, telling you what to do. Versus when you don't have a coach or a referee or pretty much rules, the flow of the game keep going, it's more intense, and you just have to adapt, and you just have to go hard and play, because you and your friends, people playing dirty, you're playing against it, and that work in advantage for when you go on a field now. You're used to playing more intense ball because it was more sharp pace and quick passing, quick movement. So you know, that's where I feel like, you know, free play comes into it. And we used to play this thing called one gunk. We used to play one gunk, and pretty much one gunk is like, for example, we on the court, because we played a lot of street ball. Even if it's not on the street ball, it's on the field, whatever, but majority of the time on the court, you know, there will probably be like 30-40 people out there waiting to play, and you're talking 5-a-side small goal. You're talking like a tree, probably like a 3 feet by 3 feet goal, or 3 feet by 2 feet goal, whatever the case might be. And you know, you play one gunk, so two teams get the game going, and then all you need, one goal win the game. It's like a goal and goal game. So you already know how that is. You don't want to lose, and you have 5 players going against 5 players, or 4v4, whatever, and the game starts, and it's just intense trying to get a goal, and then you just go, keep going, and you don't want to lose, you want to win, because the team that wins the game stay on until they lose. So one gunk really helped us, because we didn't need a coach to help the tempo of the game go up and down or whatever. We kept our tempo up because we didn't want to lose, and it was very fun, you know, playing one gunk and stuff like that. So that's my third reason, free play. No referee, no rules. We just kept going, and we just adapt to our environment as we would play. My fourth reason, in Antigua, football is more free, and there's not much teams where you had to pay to play in Antigua versus in the US. In Antigua, football was free. I was a coach. I coached for free my whole career coaching in Antigua. I coached for free, and there was like probably 1 or 2 teams that came along, like the North Coast and the, you know, I guess the Soccer Academy and the Generation Next, which I actually coached for. You had to pay to play for these teams. But in my community, in the other communities, you know, the local teams, you didn't have to play. You didn't have to pay to play. So majority of the time, you're gonna get players that's not scared to come and play because it's free. So even if somebody don't know how to play too good, they're gonna come and learn and get better because it's free. Versus in the US, you cannot find a free team in the US. It's very difficult to find a free team in the US. So in the US now, you might get good players, good potential players that could have been good, probably going to other sports, because other sports is cheaper. You know, so you're turning away good players in that sense. But the disadvantage to it now in Antigua, even though it was free, we didn't really have that much of good coaches. You know, like me, even me starting off as a rookie coach, I'm not gonna say I was the best. My style just helped me and stuff like that, but there wasn't really no coaching courses at the time available and stuff. And so the coaches in Antigua wasn't really, you know, knowledgeable. Not all the coaches. We had some very good coaches, but some of them wasn't, you know, really there. But versus in the US, majority of the teams have good coaches because there's a lot of coaching courses. You know, they have coaching seminars. You do this, you do that, and coaches are more developed in the US. So when you have to pay to play, majority of the time you're paying to go play for academy or a team that already have a proper good coach, which is going to help you. So, you know, that's my fourth reason. Football was free in Antigua, and that was a good thing for us. You know, a lot of us wasn't fortunate, and because it was free, more people show up to play. Some people just play to get in shape. Some of us just play because we were just addicted to the game. My fifth reason and my final reason is bad fields. And in Antigua we have a lot of bad fields, and it's just now within the last year or two, whatever, just recently I see they got a turf and stuff like that, and that's after I left Antigua. But for me growing up, we had a lot of bad fields, and that right there make you have a lot of disadvantages because when you're playing on a bad field, you know, the ball bounce a lot. You know, you can play a nice ground pass, but before you get to the person that's receiving the ball is bouncing up on you, so you have to adjust to that all the time. And there was a lot of disadvantages to that, so majority of the time we had to play the ball in the air for the most part, and which helped us get our control much better. And when the ball is bouncing a lot when you play, a lot of times you have to keep your eyes on the ball until you can get it under control. You know, the moment the ball is coming to you, you take your eyes off of it to see what's your next move going to be. By the time you get your eyes back on the ball again, it's bouncing and going somewhere else, and you have to get it under control. Some players was very good at it. Majority of players in Antigua was very good at it. Like, you know, there was this one of my favorite players in Antigua, Kwashi. He was a done on the field, and no matter how that ball was coming, he would always get it under control. And it was a disadvantage, and we made it an advantage for us, you know, so we got better at it. And then now, when we would ever get to go and play at a good field, because there's very few fields in Antigua that's good, and you play on a good field now, you feel more relaxed because you don't have to worry about the ball going all over the place and stuff. In the US now, 99% of the fields are good fields, and majority of the time kids get to play on turf, and they have all advantages right there. So in Antigua we had to make our disadvantages, we had to turn our disadvantages into advantages, which made us got better. Versus in the US now, they only have good fields, so it was easier for them. For us it was hard, but we had to make it easy, and that's how I feel like we became better players, because the field was pretty much not on our side, if that makes sense. So if you can play on a bad field and make it an advantage, then you're good. So for example, if we was to bring a team from the US and bring them to Antigua where the field is bad, and they just, you know, just a youth team, and they're just used to playing on good fields, and they can play on the bad field, they're gonna struggle. Now if we've been playing on bad fields all of our life, and we go to the US and play on a good field against a team that's used to playing on a good field, we'll probably have a disadvantage because we're used to the ball bumping and this and that. So now we don't have to worry about that, so we can focus more ahead, you know, think 2 steps ahead, because we're playing on a field that's so good. So people, that's my 5 reasons why I feel like Antigua produces better ballers than America. And I know some people might have the question like, so why Antigua national team is not better than the US national team? Which is true, we're not better. You know, we played against them a few times, and you know, we lost a few times, and I don't think we ever beat them. Did we ever beat them? Maybe one time, I'm not sure, but we played against them a bunch of times, you know, with London Donovan and stuff like that, and we were definitely not better than them. And in my next video, which is gonna pretty much be like a part 2, I'm gonna break down why I think we don't make it pro. Majority of us don't make it pro. Why we don't make it to the top teams and the top academies and stuff, and pretty much why that affects our national team competing with, for example, America. Because if I'm saying at youth ages we produce better ballers, then I should be saying that we have a better national team. But there's some breaking the line there, why why we're so much better, why we had all these disadvantages that we made advantages, that I would say our youth players are better than American youth players for the most part, somewhat better, and why our teams are just not better. National team is not better than the US national team. So there's the breaking the line. I'm gonna do another video where I'm gonna talk about that breaking the line and say, okay, then this is why. And I have a few reasons, so look out for that video, people. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop it down in the comments. I gave you 5 reasons why I think Antigua produce better ballers than America. Keyword produce. That means at the youth age, the 5 reasons that I just gave make us better in Antigua as youth players versus youth players in America. Those are my 5 reasons. Let me know what you think about it. Please subscribe to the channel, share the channel. You already know, people. I represent Antigua all day. I was born in the US, but I was raised in Antigua all my life. So you already know it's Antigua. But people, just let me know what you think about the video. I got more videos coming soon. Thanks again for watching. It's your boy Nesta.